And welcome back to The Truth. I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Heston, back with a brand new episode here on The Truth. Back once again with my boy, AJ Ponciano. AJ, you were just shaking your head in displeasurement. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I mean, NFL football, it's finally back. We got a little bit of taste of college football, but it's NFL season, most important.
Speaking of which, your Oregon Ducks were in a little bit of a battle. Ugh. Yikes,
Yeah.
tough look.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. New
Ugh.
court. It's
Ah,
been first new quarterback in 2 years. Didn't have our number
he's
one running back in
24.
2 years. Okay,
He's 24 years old.
what did you guys do? What did you guys do? What
We
did
won
Iowa
40
do?
to 0.
I guess two.
Illinois State.
Okay.
You
Well,
guys played Idaho. What
something that-
difference does that make?
I mean, Iowa State's a little bit better, but all right. They weren't bad. They also really didn't do anything that good. Just couldn't move the ball. We had so many
First half we couldn't move the ball, but then we figured it out. Okay, we figured it out. I almost just said Kirk
Here
Cousins.
you go running back. Here you go tight end. Here you go running back. Here you go tight end.
Sad.
That.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad college football is back, but I'm even more excited that the NFL football is back. We are here to talk NFL football, particularly fantasy, but a little bit of NFL here. We are doing our start, sits, sleepers, and busts. As of now, this is what we're just going to be doing every week for the Thursday night game. This week, the Friday night game, which is funny to think about. And then also we'll do a show for Sunday, Monday. We'll combine those two. So that's kind of what we're looking at. It's the same Thursday night special that we did last year, minus the NFL portion. Not that we don't like to talk the NFL. We're just trying to simplify it a little bit and strictly focus on the fantasy stuff. We'll have some more shows, hopefully, during the week at certain times. But again, AJ and I have a very difficult time as to begin with coordinating times just because we're on such different, not different ways of life because we're both playing college baseball. But I'm 2 hours ahead of him, just different schedules, things of that nature. So we'll do our best. But the important thing is we're here. These shows are meant to be short. These shows are meant to be, walking your dog, going to work, whatever it is, to kind of get prepared for the upcoming nights. So today we are talking about the opening night in the NFL, which is still hard to believe that it's going to be opening night. I literally cannot fathom the fact. And we got a perfect matchup, Chiefs-Ravens. Can you ask for anything better? I mean, maybe Vikings-Chiefs. Other than that, I mean, Chiefs Ravens. That's a pretty good matchup. Or you know what, Vikings Saints would be a good matchup because we'll win. Yeah. but no, we got Chiefs Ravens. So we're gonna do our starts, sits, sleepers, and busts with this, and every week when we do these, for the Thursday night shows in particular, or the special shows where there's like one or two games. We're not setting a number. We're not going to do one start, one sit, sleeper, bust. We can, but we might have 0 must starts or we might have 3 sleepers. It really is going to vary just because there's a lot of different players, things like that. Obviously tonight it's pretty straightforward, right? You obviously main must starts like Mahomes, Lamar, things of that nature. We're really going to, at least for me, I'm going to try to find some sleepers and kind of guys to stay away from. But it should be fun, should be exciting. We'll follow this format hopefully weekly, so you guys are good to go. We'll do this. We'll have you go do your starts first, then I'll do my starts and continue on there. So go ahead and give me any must start or must starts that you may have.
So outside of the obvious, I think my other must start's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I get it's the Ravens, that defense, but it always feels like, especially the first 2 drives, I want to say it's usually the first 15, 16 plays are already scripted, and usually both teams at the NFL level at least score once or twice within those 2 drives. Pacheco, I think, is the only really running back who's going to get much option here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the one good year, but hasn't really done anything. I know they have Samaje Perine, but he's 28. Carson Steele, I love out of UCLA, but he's more of a fullback. I believe they've been playing him at. I mean, Pacheco has shown that he can be that workhorse. He's going to get the majority of those touches, especially with Mahomes and that offense, the wide receivers they have now, on top of already having Kelsey. They're going to have to hone in more on that passing game, which is respectable for the Chiefs. But Pacheco is still that dog. I mean, they're going to try to get him the ball, I assume, between 15 to 18 touches on the ground, maybe 2 to 3 catches through the air. I'm predicting at least a touchdown out of him this game. I think that out of all those guys, I guess still the Ravens defense, but Pacheco is still going to get the number 1 touches there.
Yeah, I got 2 starts. I got Pacheco, obviously, and then I'm also going to talk about, say, Flowers. Pacheco, I think that's a must start. I know a lot of people are expecting to start Pacheco. There are some reservations just because it's a Chiefs running back, but this is the first Chiefs running back I felt confident starting on opening night. Obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he disappointed a lot of people. They had a couple other running backs, but as you mentioned, nobody to really be too afraid of. Yeah, you still got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, no more Jerk McKinnon. Samaje Perine could make somewhat of an impact. Carson Steele, very highly unlikely. It's Pacheco's backfield. And not only is he going to be an efficient runner for the Chiefs, but efficient in the passing game. So I think for those that are skeptical about Isaiah Pacheco, I don't think there's a reason to. I think you should be excited to have Pacheco. I really wanted Pacheco as much as I could just because that Chiefs offense is so explosive to begin with. And then obviously I'm going to go with Zay Flowers as well. This one I feel like is more like up in the air just because people don't know how to feel about Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is very talented and a guy that a lot of people deserve to talk more about, but I just don't feel like he gets the recognition that he quote unquote deserves. He's 23 years old last season, 77 receptions, 858 yards, and only 5 touchdowns. But he's kind of hidden in the Ravens offense just because it's a Lamar focused offense where they run the ball a lot. Yeah, Mark Andrews was hurt last year, but as a rookie, Zay Flowers put up tremendous numbers out of Boston College, right? In his first season, for first round selection, 22 overall, he put up great numbers. And I always say with wide receivers in particular, year 2 is always their best year, typically their best year. I think he gets on the right foot starting this year. I think a lot of people that are questioning whether or not to start Zay Flowers will sadly be mistaken if they decide to go a different path. All right, go ahead and give me any sits.
No, my one sit is going to be Zay Flowers. Like you said, it's kind of up in there. I kind of want to put him at the start, but I feel like there's a different way they're going to go with this offense. Obviously, they have Derrick Henry. He's going to be the main focal point. Love Mark Andrews still. He's going to be that number one option there. But I think the big thing for me is Zay Flowers is going to have Trent McDuffie on him basically all game. And McDuffie was locked down mostly all of last year. There is no Snead left on his roster, so I don't know if he's going to follow him or if he's going to stay on one side. But again, McDuffie is still one of the best cornerbacks, young cornerbacks in this league. And again, Zay is like there's up and downs. I'm really a big fan of Zay Likely. I think he proved that he could be more, can be in more of the two tight end sets, especially with having Derrick Henry there. They're going to try to do more two tight end sets and go off play action. And I think Zay Flowers may be a little bit more just a decoy in a lot of those sets. So I would say sit if he's your wide receiver 2 and you don't have many other options. I would say it's still fine to give him. He'll have some production, but I don't expect him to be one of those guys that have 7 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown.
So for me, my must sit or one sit, I should say, is going to be Rashee Rice. Now, I know Rashee Rice was supposed to get suspended. He's still not suspended at the moment. He is good to go, at least for now. So I think there's a lot of people excited about. Excuse me, sorry. I'm still battling my cough. You guys can't tell. I'm still struggling a little bit. But Rashee Rice is one of those guys that I think is just not going to have a really great game, to be honest. I mean, Kansas City is always weird with their wide receivers because Kansas City, it seems to be like they're wide receivers that make noise or the wide receivers that nobody's ever heard about, like the Rashee Rices of the world last year. I got to look at the box score. It may have been Rashee Rice or somebody else that nobody was talking about that randomly scored a touchdown for the Chiefs on opening day. It wasn't, the Sky Moores or the Kadarius Tonys that was expected, and we obviously saw how bad that worked for them. But it's not usually these high name chief wide receivers. Now, Kelsey is going to be the prototypical one that seems to probably get majority of the receptions and things of that nature. But I think Rashee Rice is going to have a little bit of a hangover effect, at least in this matchup here. Last season, really great year as a rookie, especially as a second-round pick that nobody was talking about. 79 receptions, 938 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I think he'll be fine, especially if his legal woes continue to play out in his favor. But at this moment in particular, I'm not the big Rashee Rice fan. I think it's, again, a really tough Ravens defense to put up some good numbers. Okay, any sleepers?
Yeah, Isaiah Likely. I just mentioned him, and more of that play action role that two tight end sets. If you're in a deep league, he's someone I really like as your backup tight end. Like I said, he proved a lot of people, I wouldn't say wrong, but like weren't expecting him to do what he did. He was a great receiving tight end. He's not a good blocking tight end at all, but he was able to show what he was able to do last year with Mark Andrews being out with injury. And I think that would really help out this Ravens offense, especially Derrick Henry there. They're going to want to try to give him the ball a lot, and a lot of people are going to be expecting that. What's perfect play to counter that? Play action. Now you got 2 tight ends that you can line up to either block or fake block to go out for a route, and likely, like I said, not a good blocking tight end, but a really good receiving tight end with Mark Andrews. A lot of people are going to be paying attention to Henry out of the backfield. Andrews, if they flip him out, Lamar on going to rush for himself out scrambling, likely he's able to go get open. Again, this is more if you're in a deeper league and you have like an extra flex spot. If you're a 2 flex type of league and you're in a 14-team league or uh, a little bit deeper. I wouldn't say he's gonna have a huge game, but if you need someone, I really like Likely.
So for me, my sleepers, I got two. I got Rashad Bateman and Justin Wilson. Yes, Justin Wilson. What the hell? Justin Wilson for me this year is going to be the random Chiefs receiver that gets a touchdown. It'd be probably something weird like a 50-yard random deep ball touchdown. I mean, that's honestly the reason why I put him on here. Do I think that you should be starting Justin Wilson in your fantasy teams? No. But I figured in the slight chance that he gets a random touchdown, I wanted to get my credit there. So that's why I put Justin Wilson. Rashad Bateman is a legitimate sleeper. I don't think I drafted Rashad Bateman in any of my leagues, and I'm kind of regretting that the more I decide to kind of look at Rashad Bateman and what he's able to do for the Baltimore Ravens moving forward. Obviously, Rashad Bateman is a very talented receiver. He doesn't get as much repetitions, or I guess recognitions, I should say, not repetitions, as some of the other receivers there in Baltimore. Obviously, Andrews is their big target, Zay Flowers, as I mentioned. But Bateman's a guy that can kind of slip through the shadows a little bit, especially if they have a very efficient running game, which is expected with Derrick Henry. So I think Rashad Bateman could be one of those guys that you fill into your flex position, especially if you're getting really excited about football and want to have a guy playing on the opening day. I think Rashad Bateman could fill in very nicely. But all in all, I think you'll get at least 5, 6 receptions, maybe 40, 50 yards, and get a score. So a guy nobody's talking about. I think he's going to have a really silent year, but a very effective year nonetheless. Okay, and then any bumps, busts. Wow, I cannot talk anymore.
So my number one bust, he's gonna be my bust for basically the entire season. Xavier Worthy. I get it. He's quick, but he was never like outstanding at Texas. He was always good, but never outstanding. Uh, I don't know. And also just look at the other rookie wide receivers that have been on the Chiefs. I believe there's only been one or two wide receivers in the Mahomes era to ever have over 1,000 yards. I believe it's Juju and Rasheed Rice this past season, or someone else. But there's only two wide receivers in the Mahomes era to have over 1,000 yards. And I get it, that's the whole season, but also, on the other hand, with that, look at the fastest wide receivers these last few years that have been drafted super high, mainly because of their speed. I get it that Worthy was the highest pick. He was later first round, but the Chiefs traded up to go get him. But they've all had some type of injury history. It's always been a hamstring injury. It's always been a calf injury. Uh, I mean, we already saw it. Worthy was dealing with a hamstring injury earlier this camp, and I believe he's not recovering from it, but he's like on the back end of his recovery right now. It should be obviously good for week one. He should be in the starting slot position, maybe outside a little bit, but I don't know. I just don't really see him doing that well this game, especially with a very physical Ravens defense. He's not the biggest guy. I want to say he's 5'10", like a buck 90, buck 85, something like that. Just a smaller wide receiver in comparison to a lot of the other guys on his team. And plus, you have guys like Hollywood Brown who are the exact same build as him and is more has been in the NFL and has shown what he's able to do. Where he's still that rookie, still has to gain that trust.
For me, I got two. One's kind of an obvious one, at least for the moment. It's Marquise Brown. I don't think he's going to play. I'm pretty sure he's doubtful at the moment. We are recording this on Sunday just because we're trying to record it early in the week to make sure we get it out to you guys on Thursday. But I doubt that he's going to play. And if for some reason he does play, complete bust. I mean, he's not going to play too much. The Chiefs, however, didn't put him on injured reserve, which means that they're probably optimistic that he'll come back before week 4. But all in all, definitely avoid him. I'm also going to say Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, I think a lot of people forgot that Juju got released by the Patriots and is back on the Chiefs. And I did see some reports like, oh, like Juju is filling in this veteran role as a wide receiver, blah, 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 like could have an impact. Don't believe the hype. I mean, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. He made his career by making TikToks, if we're going to be honest. I mean, he's kind of been quiet since that
You gotta give him his first
my
2 years.
opinion.
You gotta give him his first 2 years.
Okay, I'll give him his first 2 years. What I'm trying to say is I feel like he's disappeared since his TikTok era. That was a better way of putting it. Yes, he did have his first 2 years, but he was terrible for the Patriots. I didn't think he was good for the Chiefs, and I don't think he's going to be good for the Chiefs once again. They do get some stability though, Juju, right? Because you never know what's going to go on with the wide receivers. They don't have a good track record, to say the least. So it could be a good option there. But you got guys like Sky Moore, who I think they still want to give somewhat of a chance to. They also have McCole Hardman, who we all know is a legend in Kansas City. So as far as the wide receiver room is concerned, there's nothing that jumps out on the page that's like, oh my gosh, Juju's going to be good. I do think there are some people that are like, oh, like Juju's back reunited with Mahomes. I don't know. I think Juju is going to be on the bench the majority of the year. Maybe get some playing time if the guys can't catch the balls once again. But Definitely gonna be one of those things that I'm not starting this week, and I don't think I'll start him anytime soon. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of The Truth. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you follow The Truth on Twitter, The Truth as one, to stay up to date with the latest information regarding The Truth, including podcast dates, podcast uploads, and other important information you don't want to miss. Make sure you guys also follow The Truth on Instagram and TikTok at the.tt.truth. Are you looking to find a drink that offers peak hydration, raises your energy levels, speeds up your recovery, and keeps your mind sharp to focus and memory? Look no further than Acid Rainwater. I'm excited to partner with Bloodline Sports AZ and Acid Rainwater, which focuses on peak hydration and productivity while also maintaining an ecosystem-friendly product. Use code Heston15 for 15% off every purchase. As always, I'm your host, one you love the most, Niall Heston, joined once again by AJ Ponciano. Take care and good night.